Hey guys, so today we are talking about a quick review on organelles. Um, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. First is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is that jelly-like substance on the inside of the cell that just holds everything in place. It's mostly composed of water, but it also contains dissolved molecules that are molecular building blocks, things like proteins, nucleic acids, minerals, ions, things like that. But its job is to hold everything in place. It's jelly-like, kind of like Jello almost. We're going to jump around just a little bit. So the nucleus, its job is to be the storehouse for genetic information. So its job is to hold on tight to that DNA. It keeps DNA inside of itself, and it really just holds that safely. DNA is your genetic information. It is your genes that are instructions for making proteins. So this whole region would be your nucleus, and then right here you have your DNA. I'm going to move over here. So this would be your DNA. The endoplasmic reticulum, its job is to produce proteins and lipids. There are two sides to the endoplasmic reticulum. The first being the rough endoplasmic reticulum. That contains ribosomes on its surface and is responsible for producing proteins. The other side is very smooth. It's called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It does not have ribosomes on it, and that's job is to produce lipids. So here you see that rough endoplasmic reticulum and your smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Ribosomes are very tiny organelles that are responsible for making protein. They're active participants in the process because they will actually grab hold of that growing protein as it's being made. So this is their function, to be the site of protein synthesis and be an active participant in the process. The Golgi apparatus packages proteins for transport in and out of the cell. So the Golgi apparatus will take those proteins made at the ribosomes and the endoplasmic reticulum and package them for use inside or transport out of the cell. This is your Golgi. Your vesicle works hand in hand with your Golgi apparatus. It's a general name for a very small membrane-bound sac that divides materials like proteins from the cytoplasm and transports them within the cell. Their job is to transport proteins around the cell. That would be your vesicle. Mitochondria, their job is to supply energy to the cell. You probably know them as the powerhouse of the cell, but in all actuality, that's just a nickname. Their job is to supply energy to the cell because that's where cellular respiration takes place, and that's the process of giving our cells energy. That's our mitochondria with the inner folds. A vacuole is a little bit different between plant and animal cells. In animal cells, it's a relatively small organelle that is used for the storage of food or water. In plant cells, they're very large. They're called a central vacuole, and it's responsible for holding on to a lot of water to give support from the inside. So we can see that it is taking up most of the room inside the cell. It's kind of squished everything around it. Lysosomes defend the cell from invading bacteria and viruses. Their job is to break down worn out cell parts and kind of get rid of anything that's not supposed to be there. Lysosomes almost act like a Roomba, just kind of circling around the cell and getting rid of anything that's not supposed to be there. The centrioles and centrosomes are key pieces to animal cell division. They're only found in animal cells. And their job is to trigger cell division and really make that whole process happen. That key piece of animal cell division. This whole thing is a centrosome, and these two rod-like structures are centrioles. Some plant cell organelles. Cell walls are rigid. They are super rigid layers that give protection to support and shape the cell. They are only found in plant cells. And the key word here is rigid outer layer. So here, this thick outer layer, super strong, super rigid, is our cell wall. The cell membrane is the same in plant cells as it is in animal cells. It's that fluid layer that controls what enters and exits and gives support and shape to the cell. The nucleus does the same thing. The nucleus is that storehouse for genetic information, while the DNA is your genetic information. It contains the genes. Endoplasmic reticulum, again, does the same thing, produces proteins and lipids. Ribosomes, site of protein synthesis, active participants in the process. Golgi apparatus packages proteins for transport in and out of the cell. Vesicle transports proteins around the cell. Mitochondria supplies energy to the cell. Chloroplast. This is a plant-only organelle or a photosynthetic bacterium organelle. This is the organelle that's job is to carry out photosynthesis. It contains chlorophyll, which is that green color that we see in plants. And that chlorophyll is what causes photosynthesis to take place when it's sunny. The thylakoids right here are where that photosynthesis process is actually going to be taking place. Both the chloroplast and the thylakoid contain chlorophyll to make photosynthesis happen. The centrovacuole, it's used to store water to give shape and support to the cell wall and also prevent the cell from drying out in droughts. So that nice big structure. And that's it. Those are our organelles, guys. So between plant and animal cells, we had all those organelles. A lot of them are the same, but we do have some that are unique.